All of these things are the result of a relatively small number of people who are causing havoc. Their hundreds of millions are displaced, tens of millions have been killed, billions of dollars have been spent on humanitarian assistance and upgrading our security around the world. The effects when we go through the airport of simply taking off our shoes at the airport is a result of what has been done through these acts of these bad actors. I personally have served as an American diplomat for the last 20 years before I joined the American Center, and I've worked in those fortresses of American embassies, and the only reason they're fortresses is because their intent is to keep out a few bad people. And that makes it difficult for us to meet with the good people, the right people, and to really work closely. When I would go and visit with youth or with women's groups or civil society, I often would have to travel in armored vehicles and with bodyguards in places like close to the Somalia border, the Syria border, in West Africa, in Burkina Faso, in Mali. I mean, it's really sad when at its core, the world is really mostly full of good people. I mean, I like to think of it in many ways like a funnel. If you think about the billions of people in the world who are good at the large end of the funnel, yes, they have grievances. Yes, they're frustrated with lack of jobs, or they're frustrated with the governance in their country. They might be frustrated with issues like corruption. But they protest peacefully. They express their interests in peaceful ways, maybe nowadays on social media or blog posts. It's relatively few who start to even consider the idea of violence. And it's even smaller at that far end of the narrow end of the funnel that people actually act on their grievances. And our job at the American Center, our mission, our goal is to make sure that nobody reaches that narrow end of the funnel. And we're happy to be working with people like yourselves who are the major stakeholders here in Kosovo to also ensure that nobody reaches that narrow end of the funnel.
Terrorism relates directly to the national security, and unfortunately our country had to deal with such threats in a number of occasions, especially in the last year. Therefore, let me thank you for joining us today to discuss one of the most pressing challenges of our time, the fight against terrorism and the role of emerging technologies, particularly artificial intelligence. As terrorists adapt their methods, we must adapt our strategies to counter these threats. Our ministry has developed two comprehensive strategic documents last year alone: National Strategy Against Terrorism and the National Strategy on Cybersecurity. We prepared these two documents in line with the European Union's agendas and our strategic partners' best practices. These strategies emphasizes not only building human capacities, but also enhancing our infrastructure. We are committed to equip our Kosovo police and other law enforcement agencies with innovative technologies, enabling us to confront new and emerging threats more effectively. We are proud that our officers, who are continually refining their skills in digital investigation. Just this year alone, members of Counter-Terrorism Directorate completed specialized training in uncovering online investigation, further strengthening our ability to track down and neutralize extremist threats in the digital realm. In the meantime, we are in the process of operationalizing the Cybersecurity Agency, which will be critical in our efforts against cyber attacks. In this context, the role of artificial intelligence in combating terrorism is becoming crucial. We recognize artificial intelligence as a powerful tool in enhancing our counterterrorism efforts in different dimensions. First of all, it offers us the ability to manage an overwhelming increase in data while enabling our officials to work more effectively and efficiently. Artificial intelligence can automate repetitive tasks, reducing the burden of our workforce while also assisting analysts by forecasting potential terrorist threats in well-defined environments. These productive capabilities can be pivotal in anticipating attacks and safeguarding our citizens. A complex issue when it comes to combating terrorism relates to financial aspects of those engaged in terrorism. Here, we believe that artificial intelligence can support financial investigations, helping us identify suspicious transactions that could indicate terrorist financing. Moreover, by integrating artificial intelligence into our existing infrastructure, we can also enhance our ability to monitor online spaces, detecting extremist activities at a speed and scale far beyond human capabilities. This is critical as online platforms are increasingly exploited by terrorist organizations to recruit, spread propaganda, and coordinate attacks. However, the power of artificial intelligence is not without its challenges. We cannot ignore the fact that terrorist organizations are also leveraging artificial intelligence for their own malicious purposes. From creating disinformation and synthetic identities to automating cyber attacks, artificial intelligence presents new opportunities for extremists to further their destructive goals. The rise in extremist content on social networks following recent geopolitical events underscores the need for vigilance in monitoring these spaces. Facebook, Telegram, and other platforms are increasingly being used to spread harmful ideologies, and we must ensure that our capabilities to track and mitigate these threats continue to evolve. At the same time, we are engaged in international research projects focused on preventing radicalization through digital games, for instance. We are taking proactive steps to address new and less understood sources of extremism. This project is just one example of our efforts, how we are integrating artificial intelligence in our broader strategy. By developing artificial intelligence-driven platforms to detect and disrupt extremist activities in the online ecosystem, we aim to stop recruitment efforts before they take root. This project also fosters cross-sector cooperation, enabling us to build a robust network of experts and policymakers dedicated to combating extremism at every level. The use of artificial intelligence in surveillance and data collection poses significant challenges to human rights as well. There is a risk that in the pursuit of security, freedom and human rights may be compromised, leading to public pushback and concerns over government outreach.
So many individuals here. I also say thanks to all of you on behalf of our acting head of mission, Ms. Cornelia Taylor from the OSC mission in Kosovo. But it's very interesting when you're at a meeting of this where it's a topic that touches everybody, whether it's our media friends and what artificial intelligence has done, curriculum at academies, prosecution, and particularly for our ministers, and even for the OSCE, because it's odd in my generation that I come from a training time where I was explained there's something interesting coming, it's called the internet. And we slowly built up to what the internet was. There's something interesting coming, it's called the GPS. And then we slowly build up. Artificial intelligence came in and went at a rapid speed that it was something that as a father, I was trying to make sure my children understood as a director, I was trying to gain speed with it to help our beneficiaries. And it was today, Vice President Lee and Minister Sveçla, that I was reading to my son in the morning, and it said, there was a part that said, if you fully are going to love, you have to understand love. And if you're fully going to understand someone that hates, you're going to have to understand how to hate. And this comes from a philosophical, and that's surely not my duty at this meeting to talk to you about. But in artificial intelligence and counterterrorism, it's a speed that the opposition is working at. And we're coupled with something really incredible that slows us down, and that's rule of law, as you said, Minister. Simply, the opposition does not have to worry about that at all. They work at a speed that's dynamic. I used to be able to study a letter in my profession and tell you about the author and what the intention was behind the words. And even if we didn't have a signature, I could explain to you probably where that came from, why, and what the intention was. And now, I think the agencies that protect our well-being are sometimes overwhelmed with not only the ability to figure out where things are coming from, but also to figure out the who, the why, find the individuals before they get to that funnel point, and then on the opposite end, arrest, prosecute in an adversarial system that makes sure that no rights are invaded. And at the same time, individuals are still using artificial intelligence to overwhelm the system and make change in a negative way. And it's very incredible for me because this affects everybody in the room, and it can change the dynamics in moments of time with societies that are grabbing information very quickly without the ability to research it, because as soon as they read something, 100 other things are coming to them. And this is very different than that first meeting I had when someone explained to me about the internet coming. I can move at a speed, even in my post at the time, that allowed us to learn up quickly. And on the opposite end, I have to build capacity with my team and the OSC mission, not within a remit that makes it so robust or tough to do that, but to give tools that allow rule of law in a speed and time that allows our agencies to be effective. And this is a very, very odd equation to make work very well with artificial intelligence. I was thinking what Vice President Lee said about 9/11. And we know the effect of change with that. I can explain to you the effect of change was my sister calling me and telling me that things have changed dramatically. Turn on the TV, we'll be going to war. That's how fast it was, but we still had time to shape things. Artificial intelligence is shaping matters beyond the scope. It's infecting schools in every generation in every way. I don't say that it's something that's insurmountable to you. I think the point of a conference like this that's rather historical is that the awareness that we have of what's happening and the ability to have a chain of custody and a chain of intervention. And I think Kosovo's been a part of that historically, as I return to time and time again since I've been able to have the privilege to be here.